let's go over how to install the Woox Gladiatore buttstock on your Remington 870 12 gauge shotgun. Before we get started, you always want to make sure that any firearm that you are working on is clear and there's no ammunition in it. So I can see the chamber's empty and I can see the orange follower in the mag tube. So, that does confirm that the gun is clear and we're ready to start working. Now I'm going to be putting it into a vise, but it's not necessary for the install. The tools that are required for this install is a 3/16 hex bit, a 5/32 hex bit, a Phillips head screwdriver, a long flathead screwdriver, and then a punch with preferably a brass hammer. So getting started, the first thing that you're going to want to do is remove the old buttstock. To do so, I'm just going to take a Phillips head screwdriver, insert it through the butt pad, and we're going to remove the pad itself to give us access to the mounting screw that holds the stock to the action. Now that the butt pad's off, then you will notice that there is a slot on the back of the buttstock. That's where you're going to take your long flathead screwdriver and you'll see the bolt that holds the stock on. So you're just going to go ahead and stick the screwdriver in there and undo that bolt. So once you get that bolt off, you can go ahead and leave it inside of the stock. Now, what you're going to want to do before you install the Woox Gladiatore is you're going to want to knock out the two pins that hold in the trigger. And I'll show you why here in just a second. So make sure you retain those pins. You don't want to lose those because you'll need them in just a little bit. So make sure you've got somewhere to set the pins. Okay, so both pins have been removed. Now you don't have to take the trigger all the way out. You just need to be able to prop it up out of the way. And then you're going to want to remove this little metal plate. That way the stock can sit flush against the action. So once you unbox your buttstock, if you'll rotate it over and look on the bottom of the grip, you'll notice that there's a hex bolt. So this is where you're going to take your 3/16 hex driver and go ahead and remove that bolt. Get it started, and you're going to want to make sure that you keep it pointed up so that you don't drop the second bolt and the tang out of the hole. So now we've got it hanging out, we'll go ahead and remove it by hand. Once that is out, then you can go ahead, rotate it over, and you'll have this little tang with another bolt in there. So we're going to take that bolt and we're going to mount that up in the same hole that the bolt was holding the factory buttstock on. Then I'm going to take my 5/32 hex driver and we're going to go ahead and snug that up. Once that's snug, then we can take our buttstock and go ahead and slide that over. The reason that you have to remove the trigger guard is to give clearance for the buttstock to fit underneath it. So now that we've got the buttstock on, we went ahead and dropped the trigger mechanism back in place, and then we're going to take the bolt that we previously removed, drop that in the mounting hole, and then take our 3/16 hex driver and go ahead and snug that bolt up. Once it gives some resistance, go ahead, give it just a little bit of extra torque. Make sure that it's not going to back out on you. So now that the buttstock is in place, we can go ahead and reinsert our trigger mechanism pins. Make sure everything's lined up. There should not be much resistance when you go to install these pins. If it gives you much resistance, go ahead and back everything out and check the alignment. They should slide right back in with just a few light taps. Now the pins are back in, the install is finished, and the Woox Gladiatore buttstock is installed.